What's up, everybody? This is episode 2 of the report. I'm Lexicon. It is January 16th, 2013. It is a Wednesday afternoon here in sunny Northern California, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, what happened today with Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles. We're also going to hit on some video game stuff, some games that I've been playing lately, and let's start out with Chip Kelly and the Eagles. And in case you hadn't heard, the Eagles have reportedly struck a deal with Oregon head coach Chip Kelly after it was reported that Chip Kelly was heading back to Oregon and not taking the job in Philadelphia or Cleveland. When I heard the news that he wasn't going to take a job in the NFL, I actually applauded him. I think it's a good idea to return to Oregon. I think he's got a good program going there. I think players actually want to go to Oregon because of Chip Kelly and because of the offense that he runs there. But ultimately, he heads for the NFL. It's an ambitious move in his career for sure. That place being the Philadelphia Eagles, not necessarily on the upswing. So he's got to figure out, with all the things that they've done recently, the dream team, Andy Reid putting his faith in Michael Vick. Do you go with Nick Foles if you don't go with Vick? Who's going to run that offense is the big question. And I don't know if Michael Vick is going to stay there. If Michael Vick stays there just to test it out and see how it works, that would be interesting. But I don't know if Michael Vick is at the age right now where he can run that sort of offense. It seems to me like you want a younger guy, maybe not a rookie, but someone that's younger that can really, put it all out there. I mean, Michael Vick is still athletic. He can still run around. He can still do all that crazy stuff that he used to do. Well, maybe not all of it, but he can still. He's still pretty athletic. Let's just say that. But he's had problems with injuries. And how many times does Michael Vick have to get injured before you say, okay, this guy is not going to be who I need at the head of this offense? I don't know how many times people have to get burned by Michael Vick. Now, I'm notorious for hating Michael Vick, quote unquote. The fact is, I just, he had me when back in Atlanta. And I was only 16, 15 back then, or what have you, and I was captivated by what he did as their starting quarterback. But it's just different now. He's older. What happened with him in prison, but he comes back to the field, and he has some minor success. Ultimately, though, what you see from Michael Vick is him on the sideline hurt. Whether it be him banging his hand on someone's helmet, whether it being him trying to lunge forward to pick up a first down or a touchdown and getting smashed. Either way, he finds a way to get hurt. So, Chip Kelly might want to give it another shot. I don't know, but I wonder how long Chip Kelly has at the starting or the head coaching position here in Philadelphia. I think a coach should, at the very least, get 2 years, but probably 3 years as a head coach wherever they are before being tossed to the side or getting canned, whatever. It really takes that long to kind of get your team built up in that spot because you've got lingering contracts, you've got bad decisions that previous people made in your spot. Ultimately, the coach's job is to take whoever they have on that team and coach them, motivate them, and put the strategy in place for them to make a Super Bowl run. But at the same time, you're bringing in a guy like Chip Kelly, who's going to want to run his offense. And I don't know if you need to completely wipe the slate clean to start with that offense. I don't know if you can run it with the guys they have there. I'm not too well versed in the offense, but I know that it's going to take some young athletic guys, so the draft is going to be vital for Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles to figure out what exactly they're doing. The other head coaching spots in the NFL that got filled, really not huge names. People were saying Bill Cowher is going to go to Chicago. Obviously, that didn't happen. Trestman now in Chicago and ready to do work with them. He's an offensive guy. That's exactly what they wanted. That's why they got rid of Lovie Smith, because he wasn't doing what they expected him to do with the offense that he had. I mean, that offense is highly looked upon when you've got Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall lighting it up, and you're still losing games to Matt Forte, who's a fantastic running back and a fantasy favorite of mine. When you've got all this stuff, injuries happen, and you've got to find a backup and a way to insert somebody else into that spot that can at least try to make up for what's going on there. Mike McCoy goes to San Diego, and he's basically going to be a patsy for Phillip Rivers. That's what they were looking for, someone that can support Phillip Rivers and be that offensive-minded coach. And I'm not sure if that's what they need either. I certainly think that Phillip Rivers needs the talent, more talent surrounding him than what he's got now. You've got Antonio Gates, who's on the way out. His skills are declining. He's not what he once was, and he never will be what he once was again. He was certainly an athletic tight end, and that's what he was best known for. And when that athleticism declines, it's time to find somebody new. Wide receiver spot, you got an aging Malcolm Floyd, who you look at and you wonder, is this the best that they have? They no longer have Vincent Jackson. They lost him last year to Tampa Bay. Really, he needs that ace wide receiver. And I don't know if Mike McCoy being brought in is going to do it, but definitely that's the decision that was made, and that's why that decision was made. So best of luck to the new head coaches and the new spots. Let's talk a little bit about video games. And I've been playing a couple of video games. Of course, I've been playing Madden. I always play Madden. Madden 13. We've got our TWR connected careers going. I had to think about that for a while. It's a lot more difficult to say than franchise, but we've got that going. It's doing pretty well. We're trying to find a happy medium as far as difficulty goes. Some people are having a little bit easier of a time than others, so we're going to get that figured out. But we went through our draft. That was a lot of fun for me. I know some people were bored. Some people don't like that. And that's something that I get, and I understand why people could sit through a draft or not care about the draft. Certainly, I didn't start caring about it until the mid-2000s or so, but I can really delve into the draft and sink my teeth in to what's going on there. And we had a lot of fun with that. We had a chat going the whole time. Connected Careers hasn't been a hole-in-one for EA, but I think that they're on the right track as far as getting people to play together online. The servers are much better than they were when we started out. When we started out, the servers were dropping all over the place, and we'd lose games left and right, and we probably almost ended the Connected Careers mode because of that. But it got we stuck in there. It got better. We had a very interesting playoff run, some very good games towards the end. I made it to the AFC Championship game, which I wasn't expecting to, and it was a lot of fun. I lost the championship game by a touchdown. Super Bowl was decided by 1 point, so I really can't complain as far as how Connected Careers has been fun for us thus far. I do still miss the old franchise mode, but I understand going forward, and maybe we can talk to someone at some point about Madden 14 and their advancement on Connected Careers mode. I've also been playing WWE 13 a little bit. Got it for Christmas. I waited for it. I didn't want to pay the $60. Do I think it's worth $60 now that I've played it and I've had it for a while? It's tough. I don't think it's worth, I don't think it's like $10, but it's been pretty fun. It's in that $40 to $50 range, I'd say. It's still pretty good. It's been on sale constantly. I know that it was purchased for me for Christmas for like $25. It's definitely worth $25. The Attitude Era campaign mode is pretty fun. It can get a bit redundant at times, and it can get very frustrating, tedious at other times. you'll have a lot of objectives that you'll have to do for different matches, but they're the same exact objectives. There are these moments they call attitude era moments where it's like, oh, okay, now hit the button now, and a special cutscene will happen. Well, it's the same one for a couple of those things. So also with the attitude era mode, they couldn't get everybody in. An attitude era is just basically going through 1997, 98, and a bit of 99 in the WWE, then WWF. They couldn't say WWF. They couldn't show the WWF logo. They can now, which if this would have waited a bit, that would have been really cool. But obviously there are some people missing when you do certain matches and certain events. But overall, it was still fun. That's how you unlock a lot of the stuff if you don't buy the DLC, which I stopped buying the DLC after last year because I just, it was $10 then, and I didn't feel it was worth it. And now they're saying, okay, now it's $20. So I kind of skipped the DLC and just unlocked everything they have in the game on its own through this mode. Universe mode, it just feels like the same stuff. But the cool thing is now that you can kind of, use the Attitude Era roster that they have in the game and put that together. And I'm running an alternate timeline of the Attitude Era mode right now, kind of picking up where they left off in the Attitude Era mode, which is WrestleMania 15, and going forward there, making my own stuff as I go along. I don't play online with WWE games, or I hardly play WWE games. I played the Attitude Era mode, but for Universe, I just sim the games. It's computer versus computer. I still have a lot of fun watching that. So, all in all, WWE 13. I say if you can find it for a decent price, go ahead and pick it up. But really, if you've lost touch with the product, you'll only enjoy it for the Attitude Era mode, and that's only going to get you a certain amount of hours of gameplay, and then you have to rely on Universe or online play. I've also been playing Adventure Time. Hey Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? For 3DS. And I bought the 3DS maybe half a year ago, maybe even longer than that. I bought it with Mario 3D Land, and that's a good game, by the way. It's fun, but of course, it didn't take me very long to beat it. And once I've beaten it, I don't really have a use to play it anymore. My son plays it, and he thinks it's pretty cool. But one of the main reasons I got the 3DS is because Adventure Time was going to have their very first game on 3DS, and I'm a fan of Adventure Time. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know the show, verbatim. I don't know everything about the show. I watched what I've seen. I love it, and I love the characters. And so I basically said, okay, well, if they're going to do this game, and it's going to be only for 3D, or for DS and 3DS, I might as well just get a 3DS, and, because they're going to eventually upgrade everything to the 3DS, so I might as well just get one now. And it was at a decent price. They dropped it. When it came out, it was about $250 or something like that, some ridiculous number. It dropped to about $170, and that's when I picked it up. I got the Midnight Purple one, which is very, very slick, by the way. If you're going to get a 3DS, consider the Midnight Purple one, because it's very slick. And I also got the Mario game. But when this came out, I got the Collector's Edition, and mainly the collector's stuff was for my wife. But regardless, I've been playing the game. I play it before bed every night, and it's fantastic. It really is. It's a Zelda 2 clone. And I'm sure if you've seen a single review on this game, that's what they say. It's the same thing as Zelda 2. Zelda 2, I like Zelda 2. Not a lot of people like Zelda 2, but I'm a fan. It's a little confusing. Luckily, Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage, is a lot more helpful as you're playing. It kind of holds your hand a bit more. There were some spots where I had no clue what I was supposed to do, and spent a couple nights just wandering around the map, trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do next. But eventually I figured it out. And all in all, I mean, the humor is there from the show. The artwork is fantastic. Great use of 3D, even though I don't play with 3D on all the time. It's a great use of 3D. There was a lot of hard work put in this game. It wasn't just a cash in that we see so many times, especially with movie games. Or with Cartoon Network, they'll throw all their characters in like a racing game or something like this. But no, this is worth 30, $40, however much you're paying for it. It's worth it because this is a good game with a lot of hours. It's not varied in its combat or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but at the same time, you get Jake who has all these abilities where he can, you know, make his fist into a giant fish, and that's a fist, and that's how you smash things to get through certain parts of the world. He has his ear shield, which you can deflect stuff off of. You can basically skid across water because Jake turns into a giant wheel that you're nestled in as you play as Finn. And you fight with Finn's golden sword. There's Lumpy Space Princess and Lemon Grab, Peppermint Butler, Princess Bubblegum, Marceline. All the characters that you love from the show are in this game. There's a few voice samples in the game, but mostly it's just text. But the humor still kind of translates through the text, so don't worry about that. They do have a very cool song in the beginning. I recommend you look that up on YouTube. Just type in Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why You Still Our Garbage song, and you'll get to hear that. And that plays every time you boot it up, it plays, and it's a full-length song. And overall, it's probably one of my favorite handheld games of all time. Not just recently that I've played, but of all time. You've got your Marios, which are always going to be good. Their foundation is built. It's the same thing every time essentially, but it's still always good. But Adventure Time, I think, is kind of that callback to the days of retro gaming, and it does it really well, and it improves upon the things that were tedious with Zelda 2. So even if you don't like Adventure Time, never seen it, even if you don't like Zelda 2, still at least play it and get a feel for it and see if you like it then. So that's all I've got for today. A bit longer than yesterday, so that's cool. I don't know if you can expect these episodes every day, but I want to push content out there. Ringside Report is in hiatus right now, but I've got some good news. This is penciled in, so I know we've said this before, but expect the next episode of the Ringside Report to be January 27th. That's a Sunday. And also check back on the Facebook page for times. Facebook page, let's get into that. Just search the Ringside Report. Will pop up there, ask to be added to the group. I'll add you in there, and you can keep track of everything going on with the Ringside Report. Also, we're on Twitter at Ringside Podcast. Hit us up on there if you got any questions or comments about this episode or any future things that we're going to do. And I think that'll do it for today. I'm not sure if we're going to have one tomorrow, but I intend, at least on Friday, to take a look forward at the NFL matchups this week, the conference championships, to find out who's going to the Super Bowl. So please join me again then. Until next time, I am Lexicon, and good night, folks.